Greetings, humans, Daleks, Time Lords, and Flux. You're listening to Exterminating Doctor Who with your hosts, Aidan Gula.
And me, George Ellis.
And in today's episode, we are doing part 1 of our Flux review. So episode 1 has aired yesterday. We're going to be doing, this is going to be in 2 parts. So we're doing this now after episode 1. Then we're going to do another one after episode 6. So we can say, now, what do you think is going to happen in the series? And then by the end of it, we could go, what do you think happened in the series? So yeah, that's where we are now. So episode 1 was on yesterday. The Halloween Apocalypse. Such a good title, isn't it? And
Halloween wasn't actually that emphasized. I noticed it was set on Halloween, but it was kind of just like an afterthought. So calling it the Halloween Apocalypse felt a little bit kind of like, oh, it's on Halloween in real life as well. That's all it was.
I mean, they probably started shooting, then they went, oh, we need to work out when this is out. Oh, we could put it out on Halloween. Just somebody say trick or treat like that. Well, I mean, I'm trying not to start with negativity straight away, but like that awful bit where Skeleton Swarm Man randomly turns to the barrel of the camera and goes, trick or treat, Doctor.
Oh,
like,
that
what
bit.
Is that?
Oh,
what are you doing?
I thought you were going to talk about the actual trick or treats bit where they come trick or treating. I like that bit. But no that bit where he just goes,
what are you doing?
No, but it was okay I think it was okay up until the point where he said trick or treat, Doctor. And then that's not even the worst bit for me. It was trick or treat, Doctor. And then he does like this huge grin and starts having a little giggle. And it's not,
I was like, come on, this is panto.
Wasn't great from that dude who, character's interesting. We'll see if I like him.
Do you think it's the Master?
There were a lot of mannerisms.
A lot of people are saying it's clearly the Master. I mean, it's clearly not Sacha Dhawan. So if it is, they've recast quite quickly.
No, it seemed like a lot of the mannerisms were Sacha Dhawan's Master, actually. But maybe those mannerisms are just of the Master in general.
But it's clearly not his voice, and it's clearly a different actor.
Well, yeah. But
it is
I don't know why. I did get that vibe, actually. So I don't know what that is.
Some people are saying... So I saw one theory. A theory for a while has been, it's the Master. And there was actually a theory yesterday that went, because it's, a man and a woman, they went, is this the Doctor's parents? And everyone was going, oh. And then I went, well, the Doctor doesn't have any parents. He's the Time's Child. I was like, oh, that doesn't work. And everybody went, oh yeah, I forgot about that bit. I was like, that doesn't work. So yeah.
And I don't think that and even if like the Doctors act like parents, they're not evil. They're not these that I wouldn't even if it were, I wouldn't like that. It would annoy me.
Makes no sense to me. But yeah, generally, what was your feeling?
I actually had quite a good time with it. Yeah. I don't know whether it is just to do with me being in a really good mood in general as of recently, but I went into this expecting something absolutely terrible. And
you expected Revolution of the Daleks?
Yes, basically. I expected what we've been getting. And I actually really did enjoy it. It's nowhere near perfect, and it's not 10 out of 10. You gave it a rating on Edie on our
Twitter.
Yes, on our Twitter. But
I mean, you could give it your rating if you ever bloody used it.
Yeah. But as we've discussed, I rate stuff a bit more harshly. So, but a kind of a 6 out of 10. It's quite a good rating for any kind of Jodie episode, any Jodie era episode. I really did think it's a good.
I did once work out my average out of 10 rating for the Jodie Whittaker era, and it's 3 out of 10. So 6 out of 10 is like, oh, that's an improvement.
Yeah, exactly. A 6 out of 10 is a good rating for it.
But the Jodie Whittaker era.
But I did find myself having quite a blast with it. Like I'll just give you some positives. For example, I liked the opening. It did feel a little bit cheesy in parts, but I did quite like it. The Doctor's in a terrible situation and starts off with a monologue about how they're going to defeat the other person. And that's a very classic Doctor-y kind of thing. And then you had that, one of my favourite moments of this episode, where the Doctor's trying to open the handcuffs and says, maybe I was Scottish when I did this. And went, really? Like, a release? It was really...
Did you see the video I sent you earlier?
Which...
It's about the subtitles.
I was in the middle of a lecture when you sent me that.
Well, somebody's pointed out that if you watch the subtitles, I'm not sure if it was the UK version, but if you watch the subtitles, it actually says, maybe I was Scottish when I did this. And then it says, as 12th Doctor, release. And then it changes to, as 7th Doctor, release, because he used to roll his R's. Yeah. So it goes release after that. Well, that's whoever did that subtitle is a really nice detail there that they've got. There've been 2 Scottish Doctors, let's specify.
And either the subtitles were based off
You'd
someone
assume it's
either
intended. Yeah.
yes, either it's someone who just knows the Doctors and was like, I'll put this in the subtitles, or what I'm probably think it probably is, it's based off the script.
Yeah.
And the script mentioned that. And if it did, that's
That
a
is
nice
kinda
little
cool.
bit. And I think there are a lot of things with the script.
It's like Chibnall suddenly remembered the Capaldi era happened. And he's
That
gone, oh, Capaldi was the Doctor
Exactly,
before. It wasn't David Tennant.
that's something, but I think a lot of kind of the writing in this episode feels like Chibnall's
I said it sounds like Chibnall's found his footing.
not I think found his footing. It's not perfect, but I think it's
Found his footing.
it's
that's
the
what I'm saying.
strongest
He's
Chibnall
not-
has written any of the Jodie era so far. I think.
was watching the Doctor in this episode going, no, I quite like you actually. I was going, you're not great. And there are some things I do irritate me. I think you're far too clumsy. But I was like thinking, you know what, I'm kind of with you now.
I felt like I was watching the Doctor more in this episode than any other.
Than her past two series.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
agree.
I felt I didn't like there was no kind of moment where I felt like this didn't feel like the Doctor, because there were a lot of things which reminded me of past Doctors, and I feel like that's what a lot of kind of the first episodes of a new Doctor does. You have like these like in Matt's first episode, the 11th Hour, you have him kind of pass through a big like slideshow of the previous Doctors, and that kind of reminds you he's the next one along, and kind of Jodie. Whenever she references anything, it's always from, as you've mentioned, from the Tennant era, but it's not ever the one before. And in this, by having her just kind of do the slight mention of the Capaldi era with the Scottish reference, and also you have the little mallet, which is a nice. There were lots of things which feel like it's intertwined with previous Doctor Who in a way, and I do think it's definitely better written in all senses, really, every layer. And a huge factor of that, actually, I think, is to do with the companions.
Absolutely. I did put a tweet out about this, but I was watching it going, oh, Yaz has a personality. And I actually quite like that. And Jesus Christ, series 11 and 12 would have been so much better if it was just these two. Because the banter, you clearly look like friends. Going, this is great. And she challenges the Doctor a bit.
It makes both Yaz personable, but it also makes the Doctor personable.
Yeah. And I was just like, that's probably a big part of it while I'm going, oh, I quite like this Doctor now, because suddenly I feel like I've actually got access to that Doctor. Whereas it really shows you that, I did quite like Graham because I like Bradley Walsh, but it does really show you that Graham and Ryan got in the way of like a really good TARDIS team here, because it was just Ryan always just, always, and then Graham being, oh, this guy, let's give him all the lines. But it does show you that if it was just these two, this could have been like a really good TARDIS team. And we've only, it might be good as the series goes along, though obviously Dan also now gets in the way. But it is just like, imagine if we just had these two.
There's a lot in this episode which made me feel like, imagine if this was what we had got. Because I don't think it's as good as kind of some like, this isn't Doctor Who at its best, what we got yesterday.
No.
But it's miles better than what we've been getting.
And if you literally think about that, the last episode was Revolution of the Daleks. I think we've gone from that to this.
Yeah.
And kind of go, this is a big improvement.
Yeah, so what I'm basically exactly that. What I'm trying to say is I really enjoyed the episode yesterday. Not perfect, but it's much better than anything else we've had from Chibnall's writing in Jodie's era.
Because I spend a lot of time, I've spent a lot of time through Chibnall episodes going, oh God, literally like that. Like series 11 was just me like that.
You've seen
series 12 was me on the edge of my seat, but not in a good way,
yeah.
going, what are they going to reveal? What are they going to say? Whereas this one, I was kind of just sat back and relaxed going, I'm just going to let this wash over me. I was kind of just like, my general feeling of it is that it was fine.
Compared to,
I'm like, this isn't great, this isn't bad, but I'm enjoying this far more than a lot of your previous episodes. I'm going, you know what? I'm having at least a good time with it. My housemates I was watching it with, I can't agree with that. They were, what is this? What is going on? They were like, if I say, you know who they are. I won't specify them to the world. But
I get, yeah.
But one of them hasn't seen Doctor. She stopped watching with when Matt Smith left. She stopped.
Okay.
Which obviously pains me as a Capaldi fan.
And it pains me now.
Yes.
That I'm also a
but
Capaldi
she
fan.
stopped then, so she was going. She said, I've not seen Doctor Who since Matt Smith left. And then my other housemate has watched all of it, much to his own distress. So when it started, he just went, "Come on, let's get this over with then." And then by the end of it, he went, "Well, that was..." And then she was going, "What did I just watch?" And I was like going, "You know what? I actually quite enjoyed it." And they were like, "Well, speak for yourself." But it was
What
just
were
like,
their reasons?
so they didn't enjoy it, but I did mostly.
But what were their reasons?
Well, they said the dialogue was atrocious. They said the acting was awful. They said that there wasn't really a plot to latch on to.
These are all things, but none of them. I need to know
evidence.
why. Like
I
they're just telling me.
to be fair, it was like when John Bishop first appeared and he's doing that scene in the museum. We're there watching it, like the three of us, just kind of in silence watching it. Then one of my housemates just went, "Is it just me or can't he act?" Then all of us went, "God, yes, no, he can't." Like all of us in the same moment just went, "What is that?" It was kind of like, I can see John Bishop. He's going, "Hi, my name is Dan Lewis." I went, "No, it's not. It's John Bishop." And he was kind of like, "I don't believe for a second you are a character."
What I have something to say about John Bishop playing Dan. What I will say is, at no point did I, as you're saying, I did not see Dan. I saw John Bishop, but there were moments actually when he's in the food shelter, for example, and he's at home, and you can tell he's struggling for food and that kind of thing. I did actually get a hint of a character there, and I think that was quite nice. But I will.
It was just like, where is that character? Because John Bishop's in his place at the moment.
I will say, it is hard. I don't know, because I don't think he was terrible actually. But I will say it's hard to get past John Bishop's overwhelming personality and see the character because he is John Bishop, you know.
Yeah.
So that I'll allow. It's kind of like how with Graham, I could not get past Bradley Walsh.
Yeah. Which was why I liked Graham. I like Bradley Walsh.
I will say I actually got past John Bishop being John Bishop easier than I did with Bradley Walsh being Bradley Walsh, because I
would fundamentally disagree.
That's fair enough.
Because Bradley Walsh is actually an actor, whereas I'm not sure John Bishop's ever acted before, has he?
I don't know.
Shall we check?
Yeah, well, okay, you talk. Check while I'm talking.
You talk, I should
no, but
check.
that's fair enough. That's just kind of different.
Yeah.
Opinions. That's what that is. It's an opinion. No, but one thing I will say is, no matter kind of what you think of kind of John Bishop's acting in that role, I will say he is 100% happy and excited and to play the role. And I think this positive attitude is something that I think has been missing in the wider kind of Chibnall era, because it did feel like a lot of the companions like Ryan and Graham did kind of get, like the actors felt like they were getting bored with kind of playing those characters. Whereas with John Bishop, I feel like he wants to be there, and no matter kind of how he's acting or how much I just see John Bishop, having someone in the cast that is just really happy to be there is quite nice, and it makes you feel happier, you know, when you're watching it. It's like, oh, they want to be there. That's quite nice, you know.
That's how I felt. I was like, by the way, he's had 9 previous acting credits.
Oh wow.
So not many.
Not many, but it's not none.
No, but they've only been in like the past 5 years, to be fair. But anyway,
but everyone's got to start somewhere.
But no, one thing I was saying, as much as I thought, you know, I can do a better job of acting this, I was thinking at least he looks like he wants to be there, and I thought he looks like he's having a great time. Whereas I can't say the same thing about Tosin Cole as Ryan, who always just looked like, when do I clock off? Like, it was a bit like, you know, we've said previously on this podcast that it just doesn't look like he wants to be there.
No, it looks like he's just waiting to go to his next acting
role. Yeah, whereas at least John Bishop looked like he was kind of being like, "Oh, I'm in Doctor Who. Let's have fun with it. I can't really act. I can't really convince you I'm Dan Lewis, but at least I look like I'm having fun." It was like, I don't mind you. But,
yeah. His acting did warm to me as it went along, so we have a bit of a disagreement there. Yeah, but I agree with you 100% on the.
I'm glad you're only in this series. I think any longer than that, and I'd be like, right, off.
I do think, as a guest companion, good. I do think as a permanent one, it wouldn't work.
Like, I feel like Kylie Minogue for a full series would have been grating, but as a one episode, you go, quite good. I feel like, you know, this limited amount of time he's going to have, I'm fine with, because at least you look like you're having fun, even if there is some weird dog thing that doesn't really make any sense. But sure, we'll just glaze over that.
The writing for that is very much like, we are a species that looks like dogs, and we basically protect humans as if they're our pets in a way. And it's like,
and we've all got really heavy armor, even though we're not actually fighting.
it's really
And
on the
we've got
nose.
spears,
but
but we're actually just gonna put you in a cage.
oh,
I've
I've
got
yeah,
a trap that looks like a laptop, and it's like what?
a little bit all over the place.
What?
But
I did say in that bit when she went, why does Dan have such a futuristic laptop? I thought, well, he might have splashed out. And then she was
you
like,
need technology.
and then she went, oh, it's not his laptop. I then turned to my housemates and went, why is a dog carrying a laptop around?
Yeah,
with
they could have so had her find something which is just clearly not human. They could have made it just really futuristic, but instead
Yeah.
they went with like an HP 2018 laptop, and it
was
wasn't.
Like, haven't I got that laptop?
It wasn't. It was like they said, "Oh, Dan's got this incredible laptop." And I'm like, yeah, it's not that great. It's like it wasn't a Mac. It was just an HP 2018 bog standard gunmetal grey laptop,
Yeah,
which
it was.
like maybe selling back £100. It wasn't great.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Probably refurbished.
Wasn't.
No,
Wasn't the futuristic technology.
wasn't a supercomputer that the script said it was.
No, but yeah, we just got to kind of glance over things like some things. Like
Yeah.
that.
But no, shall we quickly mention like the amount of plot that was given to us?
That's my issue. My issue is that it was a 45-minute trailer. And I was like going, you know what? Can I have a plot, please? Like I said to somebody earlier, I said, I can't ever imagine going, oh, do you know what episode I really fancy right now? Halloween Apocalypse. Just watch the trailer, you get the same fix. Like I didn't feel there was, and people keep saying, I keep having this criticism aimed at me on Twitter or in person. People are saying, well, it's the first episode of a 6-parter. And I'm going, sure. But let's take an example, right? Think about Loki, right? That's a series that's 6 episodes long. But we've discussed this before. I literally made a video about it. If you're watching this on YouTube, that video is on my YouTube channel, where I said that series opener is perfect because it tells its own story while introducing the themes you're going to get later. It doesn't go in one episode. It doesn't go, here's all the planets we're going to see. Here's Kang. Here's Lady Loki. Here's all the variants you're going to see. Here's classic Loki. It doesn't do that in one episode. They're introduced gradually as the series goes along. What this episode did was, I have jotted them down, it went Liverpool flashback, Karvanista, Dan, Weeping Angels, Claire, Flux, Sontarans, Swarm, Vind, TARDIS malfunction, Division, Doctor and Yaz's strained relationship. And it's going, whoa.
I completely forgot the Liverpool.
And it was like,
pastime.
whoa. It was going, whoa, that is too much. You know, like you think about
strongest elements in that? The strongest elements in that I like.
Yes.
The TARDIS being all malfunctioning, that's actually really interesting with the doors coming from different places. I want to know where that is going. That's really interesting. And please be multiverse stuff, because that's, come on. But I really like that one.
Shall I read the list again, slow down, so you
Yes.
can process it? Right. All the plots that
I'll say yes or no to ones I like and
all
dislike.
the plots that I jotted down were the Liverpool Victorian flashback,
What was the point of that?
Karvanista.
Which one's a Karvanista again?
That's the dog people and saving the people around.
Yeah, well, that
Earth
one
and
was the
kind of
main
thing.
one, so I think that one was, yes, that's a good one. Yes.
But I'm just saying these are every single plot
Yes.
that was mentioned. Introducing Dan and showing us his life.
Yeah, that's good.
Randomly introducing the Weeping Angels.
Why were they there?
Then showing us Claire, who people are theorizing is Clara, and I'm going, where the hell have you got that from?
Please don't be Clara.
Because they said it's Clara because she went, I'm going home the long way round, and everybody went, Claire is Clara in French. Oh my God, it's Clara. And I went, Clara can't regenerate. Like it.
I thought you were going to say Clara can't learn French.
She can't regenerate. If it's Clara, we're going to see Jenna Coleman.
Yeah.
Not going to be some randomer.
Okay.
Oh, I actually missed one. Hold on, let me just jot it down. Flux, obviously, that's also the big series thing.
It's the crack, basically.
Yes. Sontarans.
Right. That one.
Shoehorned
No,
in.
right. We've got to mention this. Right, that one. Great scene, that's Sontarans. I really like the design, and
Yes.
I like that. Like that. Great. I enjoyed the scene.
I also, tell you what I really liked as well was, obviously, it's a new actor, I think, playing the main one.
I know what you're going to
But
say.
the other one was Dan Starkey.
Yes, I recognise that.
And I loved that because he played Sontaran in the original one, and then obviously he's Strax, and now he's a new one. Well, I loved that he was playing a proper menacing Sontaran again. Well, that's kind of nice because you keep doing Strax, and it's nice to see. I like Strax. I know not many people do, but I do like Strax. But it's quite nice that he has gone from doing the comedy Sontaran, and now he kind of gets the chance to be a serious, menacing villain again. I did quite like that. But yes, carry on.
No, I did. I know. I like that bit because you somewhat get a passing of the torch kind of thing. Like you get to see him in that role, and I immediately when I was like, is that his voice? And it was nice.
Yeah.
But the scene, nice showcase of the new Sontarans. Great. But it was completely pointless. Because then at the end, they're shouting attack. I don't know where they are. I don't know what they're attacking. It was a
And they're
completely pointless
They're
bit.
going to be in next week anyway. Can we not just wait one
that bit,
week
that
to
bit
see
was
them?
completely pointless.
it was.
Because you have them saying, it's time to attack. Let's attack. And then at the end of the episode, it's cutting between all of these plot lines. And then it has them screaming, attack! I don't know who you're attacking. I don't know why you're really attacking. I don't know where you are. I don't know how many of you there are, because as far as I know, there's only one goddamn ship. It was a completely pointless section of the episode,
Yes.
which I think was just... There was no point to it. There was no point, because if the point was there, I would have had more information. But clearly...
It's the thing I'm saying where people keep pointing out, they go, well, we'll find out. It's going, yes.
You've got to set something up for me to find it out.
Yeah, but we need to know, we need to have a drive. I need something, do you know what I mean? For watching this episode, I'm talking about this episode, I need something that will get me from the beginning to the end. There is really nothing that I think, I need to find this out by the end.
You can set up little
it's
strands.
just throwing random things
Exactly.
at me.
You can set up little strands of mystery. But the Sontarans, there's no mystery there, because the Sontarans attack things. I know they're attacking something. Thanks. Great.
Like, sure.
Stupid.
It's
Right.
That was in the trailer anyway. I don't
Exactly.
need it here.
That last bit, right. Enough on the Sontarans. They annoyed me. They
Yes.
shouldn't have been in this episode. I like the design,
No.
like the setup. What was the point? That could have been at the start of the next one. What's the next on the list?
I've said Weeping Angels already.
You
haven't
have.
I?
We'll quickly mention them. Really, really good scene though. Like it was really
Back
kind
to
of
basics, Weeping Angel. Yeah.
really strong kind of seeing Weeping Angel do a Weeping Angel
Yeah.
thing. I don't really know why they're there.
Again,
but
I was thinking, could we not have just waited for the Weeping Angel episode?
yeah,
Is there
but
any reason? Especially because Claire, when she comes in, she goes, "Oh, you've not met me yet," and then she's killed off 2 minutes later. I thought, well, why do we need your introduction here? Can we not just wait for your proper introduction?
oh, now that you say that,
I
actually,
don't
no.
need you here.
Now that you say that, I feel like what's gonna, yeah, because she's been sent back in time now. Maybe I don't know. No, because then
Well, it would just mean in a later episode, the Doctor will go, "Oh, Claire," and then she'll go, "Do I know you?" It's kind of like, no, we don't need this line.
we've had this done before with
John,
River
we
Song,
don't
and it's
need-
been done
we don't-
better.
we
You
don't-
know,
we
we've
don't
had
need
this
this
out of
line.
time thing,
Yeah.
but no. It was a good little scene with the Weeping Angels, seeing them do that, like seeing the angel do like a one angel kind of thing. And I think this was a better setup than what the Sontaran did, because we had a character we could follow through that moment, and it's like, where are they now? We
Rather
have
than an
something to
abstract
follow,
scene, yeah.
rather than just something which is just basic Sontaran doing Sontaran, you know? But still, I agree with you. Could have just been saved for the Angels episode.
Yeah, I don't think we needed it here.
Yeah.
Because again,
If I were in the
because
cutting
it-
room, I'd probably cut it.
yeah, exactly. Because again, they're in the trailer. We don't need them here.
That's a fair point. If they weren't in the trailer, would we be better with it here? As a little kind of, oh my God, they're here.
Well, no, I still would say no because they're not adding anything to the episode.
True.
I've said somebody said this to me. They said, well, it's no different than any other opener that sets things up. And I said, yeah, but if you take like Partners in Crime, for example, you're just facing the adipose. Do the Sontarans show up? Does a giant wasp show up? Do you see a shot of Daleks just being Daleks? No, you don't, because they're introduced later. You don't need everything
if you
crammed
saw
into one.
Davros's reappearance in the episode 1.
Yeah, exactly.
That would completely ruin that.
Say that it's that style of Sontaran scene. You just got the Doctor and Donna dealing with the thing, and suddenly you get, we must take the planets. And then he emerges at you, but go, why is Davros here? I thought
And
we
it'd be
I
for
thought we
like
were
2
dealing-
minutes.
Yeah,
But
and it's like I thought we were dealing with something else. That's how I felt with this. It was just like, especially like if you've released a trailer where Daleks are in the trailer, you go, okay, we're gonna get Daleks this series. Then the episode goes, hey, look, you're getting Daleks. It's going, yeah, I know, I saw the trailer, and this was like going, you're gonna get Sontarans, you're gonna get Weeping Angels, and it was going, yeah, they were in the trailer.
Maybe it's them
And the
realizing no
press
one had watched the
announcement.
trailer. No one had watched the trailer.
I mean, to be fair, my mum actually said, I forgot it was on. Like, my mum has watched Doctor Who with me every single week since 2005. And she went, I forgot it was on. Which shows you, I mean, she's a fan, but she's not fan like we are.
Like my mum, basically.
And let's say she's general audience. How much of the general audience do you think went, oh, I forgot about that? Do you know what I mean?
It might have been a trailer for the series because
That's my devil's advocate thing. I'm going, I want a story. I want an episode where I can go, that was cool. And one day I can go, oh, I really fancy Halloween Apocalypse right now, sit down and watch it. If I ever get that fix, I'm just going to watch the trailer because it does this exact same job. But the thing I'm thinking is, if it's general audience who have seen Doctor Who before, and they go, "Oh, Doctor Who's on," just stick that on before it's Strictly. And then they go, "Oh, no, it's those Weeping Angels. Shall we stick around for that?" Do you know what I mean? I feel like that's what it's achieving for a general audience. Hey, guys, come and watch this. But that, for me, I'm like going, you can make a poster. You can put something on TV.
But maybe that wasn't getting to people, I don't know.
But if they're not seeing the trailers, why would they see
I don't
the
know.
show?
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. That could be a reason, but I do agree with you. It's just kind of like, why not just make a really good first episode, which is just a great story, like a great just contained thing that hooks people instead of just hooking people
like
with bait.
like Loki, for example.
Like I'm gonna bring something quite relevant up now. Squid Game. We've discussed that first episode is brilliant.
Yes.
That sets up the idea of the Squid Game. It does. But it also shows us everything about our character, And the whole point of that first episode isn't really the Squid Game at all. It's why people are there and why our protagonist is there.
You get a taste of what's going to come. And by the end of it, you go, you're going to want to see more of that. That's what an episode 1 for me should do. I've said to people, I have I have a 1 episode rule for things.
I do, and it annoys me incessantly when I tell him about great series, and then he's just like.
But if it doesn't hook me with episode 1, I'm not going to watch it.
I understand it. It's annoying, but I understand your rule.
I'm not going to watch it because I need that 1 episode to go. This is why you want to watch this. And I've said this episode didn't pass my 1 episode rule because I'm like going, but why should I care? You're going things. How many times? 1, 2, 3. Hold on. Bear with me.
Don't you dare.
I'm going to do this accurately. 1, 2,
Don't you
3,
dare.
4, 5, 6, 7,
Don't you
13.
dare.
You're going to go things, but not give me any reason why I should care about those things.
Yeah, are you going to clip that? I feel like that's a perfect.
Very probably, yes.
No, what's next after the Weeping Angels then?
Vinda.
Which one's Vinda again?
The random bloke in the space station, which also is the second one along, which is Outpost Rose.
That one I can maybe understand.
Don't need it. Get rid. Here's a character, because his character is recurring. He's going to come back. So it's like going, introduce him in his episode. We don't need him here.
I think he's to show us the Flux destroying things. So
which we see at the end anyway. We get 2 scenes, so cut one of them.
That's a fair point. He's right.
We don't need it twice.
He's right.
You've gone planetary devastation.
Right. Can you stop this? Because it's sitting on a 6 right now.
It's an episode. That scene goes planetary devastation. You go, oh, okay. Then you get to the end and it goes planetary devastation. You go, yeah, I just saw
It does take the
this.
impact away from the last bit of the episode, actually, because you've seen it. You're right. Okay, cut it. Next.
If we had seen that bit with Jodie Whittaker looking out the TARDIS and we get that thing coming, we're going, what the hell is that? That is better to me.
You're right. We know too much about it. Like we've learned too much about. You're right. Cut it. Right.
Don't need it.
Oh my God.
We don't need it.
Oh no.
Likewise, and also part of that as well. His base is called Outpost Rose. Now, to me, that is something. You're not going to call it Outpost Rose if that doesn't mean anything to me. Especially in this era that's going. Do you remember the David Tennant era? I think it's signaling. Maybe I don't think it's Rose is coming back, but I think it's going. Remember something about Rose.
Why did Rose leave a legacy or something?
Yeah, I feel, or just because she's in a parallel universe, could be going. You could be going. Here's Rose, then you go, oh yeah, Rose. She's in a parallel universe. Oh, are they in a parallel universe? Do you know what I mean? That's what I think it could be doing.
I've got a tickle in my throat, but yes, I agree with you.
Because why would you call it Rose?
I didn't actually notice that, to be honest. But now I'm like, oh yeah, they did do that. But yeah, no, that's.
It seems like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
If it's somebody, if it was Outpost Sarah Jane,
hopefully,
you'd go, why is it called Sarah
hopefully
Jane?
it isn't just a reference to the Tennant era. A hint.
Yeah, I've just added something else to the list, so because I've just remembered something else, so I'm just gonna, to make this accurate, I'm just gonna do an extra thing. Right. So the next one along is the Swarm, which are those rocky skeleton-y people. One of them is called Swarm, I believe.
Oh, the brother and sister.
Yeah.
They seem too powerful.
I mean, they seem like, these are probably going to be our
nemesis,
physical villainous threat. And they're one I go, I can understand your presence. So there I'm like going, fine, let's introduce them. Yes, I hate the bit when he goes, trick or treat, doctor. I hate that bit with a violent passion.
Way too caricature.
Yeah. And there is the extra thing. Why are we pissing about with the Arctic Circle? Why did we need that? Who are you? Why do I care about you? I don't need to dedicate live over to you having breakfast or whatever you're doing. We're wasting time.
I think I feel like, no, right. I feel like that bit's to show us that the sister had been hiding out from something. I think that is, out of all the ones you've mentioned, it's one of the more important ones.
But it's the taking time to go, you're in the Arctic Circle. Here's your characters. Here's the man. Here's the woman. I'm like,
but
just get this guy. You walk in, you find the woman, she reveals she's that thing. Job done.
Let's argue we're cutting it down, yeah? So we're cutting out the bits that we don't want. We've made room for this to still be here. So I think this one, out of all of them, this doesn't...
I mean, BBC America are airing an extended version, so I think we've got plenty of time to cut.
Why are they airing an extended version?
Who knows? What else is it going to do?
Probably just have more Sontarans shouting, attack like 2 more times.
Add in an extra 5 storylines.
Yep.
Stop it. There's already 15.
I'm intrigued about the crystal folks. Like, how's that going to work? But I'm worried they're going to be these unimaginably powerful beings, which is what they seem like they are.
I mean, some people have pointed out he regenerates.
Is that a regeneration,
doesn't
though?
he? Because he changes actor, he changes form and everything.
No, but he absorbs someone. That's not a regeneration.
That's what I'm thinking. Either it's a very primitive kind of we've taken the technology kind of thing. Like, say they've done.
I'd say this
right. Let's say that this is a theory I'm going to generate here. Whether I believe that theory or not is another question.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say it is, how the same way Tecteun experimented on the Timeless Child and got Time Lord regeneration. What if these are people that experimented on the Timeless Child and got their own form of thing?
Maybe.
And it's going to be this colliding thing. It could be that. They didn't master it like the Time Lords did.
Perhaps, because there is similarity. But honestly, I get more similarity to the Absorbaloth than I do Time Lords from this.
I'm just basing on what people are theorizing. Whether or not I believe that theory is another thing. But let's say that's my theory.
Yeah. But I'm interested to see how this will go. And I feel like there'll be a moment in it where they try to absorb someone like the Doctor. Probably. And that'd be interesting. Or a Time Lord, or a different version of the Doctor, or something. But they are interesting. And because they are so powerful, that can maybe lead into some more mind-boggling stuff like multiverse theory, because they are so powerful. But I am concerned they are just going to be these unstoppable forces that will only get defeated by some sort of Deus Ex Machina, by something, or by something which is just
It'll probably be by the Flux in the final episode.
Do you get what I mean?
They'll probably go, oh. They'll probably.
Do you know what I mean? It feels like, I don't know how the Doctor could defeat these in a smart way other than just like a huge explosion or the Flux. Yeah. But they're the more interesting ones, because
they're one I think you deserve to be in this episode. I just think there's a bit too much
filler,
padded, a bit too much padding around them. I thought get to the point. TARDIS malfunction. We've talked about that.
I like that. I really like that, actually.
Yeah,
especially
we've talked about that one. We've talked about that one. Liverpool flashback. We've already talked about. Division. The Doctor investigating the Division.
I completely forgot what the Division was. So when I was watching, I was just like, "What's this?"
It's the thing from the Timeless Child episode, isn't it?
The thing from the Timeless Child.
In the Timeless Child episode, they say that the Doctor used to work for the Division, and then they wiped his memory, and then he became William Hartnell.
Oh.
And they're saying it's basically she was looking for agents of the Division.
Oh, I see. Now this story is making more sense to me. I just thought, it's a new thing she's following. But no, I get you. Right.
Which is why when they mentioned it, I was like,
oh. Can we not have... I'm with you.
I was literally like, I forgot about this. I don't want to mention it. And that random storyline where the Doctor was apparently an Irish policeman. It was like, why? What was the point of this? Like all that kind of thing, you think, or postman, or whatever what his job was. That's the Division, basically.
Oh, I see. Right. Well, that's just made the episode somewhat worse for me. Because I completely forgot about that. I was like, new plot point. Old plot point.
No.
Not a good old plot point as well.
Yeah.
Right, I see. Well, that can sod right off. Yeah. Next.
That's the last bit is Doctor and Yaz's straying relationship, because it focuses on that a bit.
We've mentioned that.
Which does carry over from last series, really. And I kind of like it about this Doctor, because this Doctor was way too happy-go-lucky. And now she's kind of got a dark element.
But I think this is appropriate because of her being so happy. It's like what I got from that, especially in this episode, it's kind of like she's not happy. She's actively putting this on to be kind of like, oh, I'm really quirky. And it's like, why are you being so quirky now? Oh, it's because you've everything
you know has been
ruined. She's
shaky.
acting like how the audience acts to the Timeless Child. What the f is
Like,
this? Let's be really...
everything's fine.
Yes,
I promise it's fine.
exactly.
Yes. And that's all really the plots. I think, as we've discussed, there's far too many. You can cut a lot of them out, introduce them gradually. If I compare, I'm using Loki as my example because they're both sci-fi series that were 6 episodes long. And I think there's a lot of kind of, it's one long story kind of thing. And I think if you look at something Loki, if it had gone, if you had in that, like you said, that final montage where you randomly see Victorian times, Sontaran, Weeping Angel, all these random bits at the end. Imagine that for Loki when Mobius walks in and he says, we're going to go on a mission. Imagine that we then got a montage where you saw Lady Loki, Classic Loki, all the planets you're going to see. You saw Kang and all these things. You'd be going, no, show me them later on. I don't need them now.
Didn't we kind of get that a little bit at the end of the 11th hour, though? A little bit.
Why?
No, do you know when they're kind of like what's to come in the Moffat era? Do you remember that bit?
Yeah, but it's thematically.
Yes.
That's telling you.
I just remember that.
It's telling you you're going to get a crack.
Mhm.
You're going to get the silence or
Mhm.
fall. Here's your new doctor. Here's your new companion. 4,
There you go.
not 14.
I brought that up as a devil's advocate so we could bite that one.
But it's the example is if the 11th hour had ended with a montage of Daleks, Weeping Angels, Beast, vampires,
It's just too much.
James Corden, all these things, you'd be going, stop it.
I forgot James Corden was in Doctor Who.
For the better. But it's just like, that's how I felt watching it. I was literally on that final montage. I went, stop it. There's too much.
Mm.
You show me, and people are going, yeah, but it's going to be wrapped up. And I'm going, yes, but this is what a trailer does, not an episode. An episode is a story.
An episode will pays off a section of a trailer. That's what it does. You know,
Yes,
you
and we
don't
need
then
to-
reiterate what
we
the
need-
trailer said.
We need to begin with story here and move the story along. I don't really feel like that happened.
I feel like I'm in a lecture right now
Because
it's all
all-
about story. Yeah.
Yes, well, let me say my point rather than interrupting me. I feel like an episode is a story that should get from point A to point B. The status quo should have fundamentally changed by the end of it. Now, people go, well, it has because the Flux has come in. It's going, yeah, but the synopsis told us that. The synopsis told us the Flux is coming. What is the Flux? That's the point we get to by the end of the episode. It's like, but that's where we were at the start of the episode. We knew before the start of the episode, there's something coming called the Flux. And by the end, we go, oh, there's something coming called the Flux. It's like, yeah. What new information have I got? I've got no new information from this episode.
We get the Flux is following the Doctor specifically. We get that bit.
But how much is that
Not enough, but that's the only thing that came to mind. The rest,
That's a thing that is mentioned in what, 2 minutes?
yes, which is arguably the
At the
most
start-
important.
at the
Which is arguably the most important bit, actually.
If you're
because
going to do that at the beginning of the episode, they need to already be investigating the Flux or finding out about the Flux and think it's just generally moving around. Then by the end of the episode, we learn it's actually following the Doctor.
Mm.
Don't in 2 minutes go, there's a Flux. Oh, it's following us. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you said. I'm just thinking about that idea of it following the Doctor, actually, because that seems like an incredibly important element, because that brings up 2 ideas. One, it's being controlled, probably by the Crystal people, or 2, it has a mind of its own. Those are the 2 possibilities. And that seems such an incredibly important thing to focus on, and for it to be mentioned for 2 seconds feels like wasted potential, actually.
That's what I'm saying. That's the information we should
should
be
have
learning.
yeah.
But it doesn't. Where we were by the end is where we were. This synopsis at the start, from Liverpool to the Arctic Circle.
Now
all
with a
this is
mystery
brewing.
now with something that we've got to now deal with.
And yes, we've been introduced to some things like the Swarm and these things, but it's just not enough. It's not a story. I want you to tell me a story, and I want to have an I said this is something I say about films. I don't like films where I call it stuff happening. And that's the kind of film it's just like, say we watched one, for example, Coffee and Cigarettes. That's a stuff happening film.
Terrible.
You've just got people chatting. Now they're over here. Now this is happening. Oh, now we're there.
God, Coffee and Cigarettes is
But
quite
there's-
possibly one of the worst films I've ever seen.
But there's nothing telling me when I start, there's nothing going, I need to find out what happens by the end. Will they save the day? Will they do this? There's nothing in this episode that does that. It's just going, oh, who are the Karvanista? Oh, who are the Swarm? What's the Flux? What's that? What's that? What time is it? What's that? What's that? What's that? Oh, credits. Anyway, so how are you? That's how I felt with it. It was like, it wasn't going, Oh, that was good, wasn't it? Oh, that was tense. You know, it was like, it's just stuff happening.
It was a setup. It
It's
felt like
entirely a
it was
setup.
purely groundwork for what's to come, and there wasn't really enough of something in itself
Mm.
to hold itself up. You know, it's groundwork for the rest of the series, but there's no groundwork for that episode itself.
And do you know how you do that? Do you know what that's for?
What?
A trailer.
Oh, really? How about that? I still think this is a 6 out of 10, and I did enjoy this, as I've said, more than any other.
I think I
Chibnall
might have
one.
actually dropped down to 5 doing this review.
Yeah, maybe. But no matter what I rate it, it's still just better than any other Chibnall era episode. But if the whole series, or at least if half of the series is set up like this first episode, I don't think I'm going to enjoy it that much.
No. As we wrap up, because this has gone on much longer than I thought it would.
Mhm.
And
You decided to have a little rant.
yeah, because I just didn't really like it. I mean, it was fine, but you know.
All right, we'll go on another one.
Something I was actually, when I was watching it, another comparison I was making is it reminded me of a portion of Infinity War where you go, here's Captain America's team, here's Wanda's team, here's the Guardians, here's Thor, and there's all these, you go and here's all your characters. Then after that, it smooths out and you get basically 2 locations that you're bouncing between. So maybe as the series goes along, we smooth out, but that's fine for a film because you're just watching one thing
That's
in one sitting.
it's fine for a. Yeah, exactly what you're saying. It's fine for a film that's one sitting, and it's fine if you're binge watching a show. And there's quite a few shows that I think are binge worthy.
If, say, this episode had, because so some series have done this, say it was like they were airing the episodes weekly, but they also dropped them all on BBC iPlayer at once. That seems like a great tactic for this, for me.
Or they do what a lot of the Disney Plus series do, and they air you like the first 3, and then the rest are weekly.
Yeah.
This one felt like this one needed to be with another episode.
So
Probably would have worked
so
better.
we get a continuation. Whereas,
Yes.
like I said, it's just a 45-minute trailer, which is my final thoughts.
Lovely. Your final thought. How long has this final thoughts section been going on for?
25 minutes, I think.
Lovely. No, my final thoughts, as I've just mentioned, but I'll mention again quickly. I think it's better than any other kind of Chibnall era episode in terms of writing and kind of the characters and all
I
that
mean,
kind of
there
thing.
are episodes I would rather watch from the Chibnall era.
Yeah,
than this,
but in terms of how the characters are written and in terms of the whole vibe, I think this is much
I finally
stronger.
felt like the Doctor showed up.
Exactly. And that I'm excited to see more of. But in terms of an episode which is just an episode which you'll want to go home and watch again,
Yeah.
it doesn't do that. So what I will say is I will drop down the rating from 6 to 5. Because it is, I'd say, 5 out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Yeah, it's down to 5 for me because I enjoyed it. For those 5, that 5 to get halfway is, yeah, I enjoyed it. But the 5 is to go, but what actually happened? Because, for example, like the other day, I sent you the other day, I was just sat in my room and went, I really fancy the Carrionite Curse right now. Whatever it's called. No, not Carrionite Curse. That's the Big Finish one. Shakespeare Code.
That's the one.
It's
I was
called-
like, what the hell is Carrionite Curse?
That's what it's called on Big Finish when the 6th Doctor faces the Carrionite. No, because that's actually maybe a better story. But anyway, the other day I just felt like I fancy the Shakespeare Code, so I just put it on. Nothing to do with the podcast. I just put it on. Will I ever do that with the Halloween Apocalypse? No.
Well, unless you're a bit deranged.
I will go. I fancy Series 13 Weeping Angels. So I will go to the Series 13 Weeping Angels. I fancy Series 13 Sontarans. I will go to
Sontarans?
Sontarans. I will go to their episode. I don't need the trailer. But no, that is the end of our Flux review. Go Flux yourself, I think I'm going to call it. Because everybody's gone with what the Flux. So I'm going to go, no, I'm going to go with Go Flux yourself. So that's...
Yeah, because what the Flux, it's good. Because I like that's kind of like the mystery of the Flux. It's in time with the episode,
Yeah.
but it's not in time with us,
No.
personally.
Ours is far more aggressive and
Yeah.
standoffish.
Go
I'm
Flux
going-
yourself.
I'm going with Go Flux yourself. That's part 1. Part 2 will be...
Where the
once-
Flux do you get off?
Yes, that'll be part 2. Part 2 will be once episode 6 has aired.
Yes, and we'll discuss kind of the whole series as a whole and kind of
Yeah, and we'll talk
if
about...
it's paid off.
We will
what?
generally catch up with the episodes through our main podcasts.
Yes.
So, see you then.